guys and gals, Never here from Drakewing Gaming, and Sunny Mountains, what are the Gaming Dragon Day? I'm coming back at you on the Let's Play episode of Temptation's Ballad. So y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Alrighty. Oh, dearie, I used to think the same, but age always finds a way to sneak up on you. Why don't you cast the locating spell of yours again? I'm fairly certain it'll tell you that your grandson is not here. The old wizard's jaw tightened. After a brief moment, as if to humor her, his eyes flashed with silvery arcane energy as he cast a fresh locate creature. Gaius blinked in surprise. It appears I may be mistaken. No need to be embarrassed, dear. Mistakes happen. I wish you the best of luck in finding your grandson, though. You must be so worried. Gaius O'Shaughnessy's face twisted into a deep knot of irritation. Perhaps I best be on my way. He turned to leave, but his eyes widened as he caught the sight of Cole, who was sprawled across the floor where Artemy had clobbered him over the head with a plate of onion rings. Gaius approached, his eyes burning curiously into the younger hyena for an uncomfortably long time. Cole squinted. Can I help you? You. Young man, what is your name? Cole grimaced at the strange old man hovering above him as he brushed a chunk of fried onion out of his eye. My name is, Geoffrey. I see. Without another word, the old wizard left, the door slamming closed behind him. Cole picked himself off the floor with a bemused huff. Creepy old git. You can smell the condescension wafting off of him. Cole, that was rather rude. Why did you lie to that elderly gentleman? What? Are you kidding me? I'm not giving my name to the random old wizards. Stranger danger, Artie. He glanced towards the entrance where Ilia was gently helping a shivering Calder back onto his feet. The hyena was pale, his eyes darting towards the door as though expecting the wizard to return at any moment. Ilia patted him on the back and spoke with surprising tenderness. I think it's best you lot take the dishwasher with you. I hate for his grandfather to return and find him here. Cole grimaced but nodded reluctantly. Fine, we could use the nerd when we head to the laboratory anyway. Sid gave the older hyena's shoulder a warm squeeze. Hey man, you doing okay? Do you want to talk about it? Calder said nothing. He weakly clung onto Sid's arm hand and allowed himself to be led quietly out the door. Artemis shot them a concerned frown, but followed them outside along with Maeve. Can't believe I'm saying this, but maybe the little brat doesn't deserve all he's gotten. Keep an eye out for him, will you, dearie? Sure, but I have to ask you something. What was that? Ilia looked surprised. Whatever do you mean? Back there, when that old man tried to magically locate Calder again. You cast non-detection, but you did it without any verbal incantation or somatic gestures. It just kind of happened. Cole's eyes narrowed. Subtle spell? Bards usually can't do that. Unless... Ilia laughed and waved her hand dismissively. Novice bards typically can't learn Misty Step or Ghostly Gaze either, dear. Come now, don't pry. A lady must keep some of her secrets. Now go on, you've got a prince to interrogate and a mystery to solve. Now distract yourself with an old bird like me. Cole watched her carefully for several long moments before reluctantly leaving to join the others. Ilia waved pleasantly as he left, her small frame disappearing from view as the door swung closed behind him with a thump. A thwomp. Maybe it was a kerthump, or a kerthwomp. Their walk to the royal palace was a quiet one. Artemy and Maeve led the charge, chatting quietly amongst themselves about the history of noble families or something like that. Sid dawdled behind the group with Calder. The older hyena silently clung to his arm and did not utter a single word since they left the inn. Sid shot him frequent worried glances. The noble had completely clammed up and his gaze fixed firmly to the ground as though trying to ignore everything around him. Hey. I know I already asked, but is everything okay? Your grandpa doesn't seem like an easy guy to live with. Calder immediately snapped up, as though waking from a daze. A scowl slid over his face as naturally as one would squint in the morning sun. Of course I'm okay. Why is that even a question? Do not make presumptions of things you don't understand, plebeian. Sid smiled awkwardly and raised a hand in surrender. Hey man, I'm not assuming anything. You just look kind of awful and I wanted to know if there's anything I can do to help. Calder blinked, taken aback before the scowl returned. There is nothing that you can do, commoner. In fact, there is nothing to do. I have my responsibilities as my house's heir and to the burdens that come with it. I am perfectly capable of carrying them on my own, thank you very much. The noble upturned his nose and stomped off, hurrying to the front of the group where Maeve and Artemy were chatting. Despite his best attempt to puff out his chest, Sid couldn't help but notice the lump of his shoulders through that weak facade. Cole sidled up next to him with a raised brow. Yeesh. When you try to help the guy, he's an absolute dick about it. I'm not sure why even bother. Well, everyone deals with stuff differently. Speaking of which, are you okay too? Cole immediately stiffened. Of course I'm okay. The bard caught himself and blinked. Huh. Don't like that. They walked silently together for a few minutes before Cole sighed. Alright, okay might be a bit generous, but I'm dealing with it. Everything sucks, but it's a long time coming. Did your dad really take it that badly? Cole threw his hands up in the air. That's the worst part. I couldn't even confess anything. I just kind of broke down and he had to comfort me. As much for taking responsibility and all that shit. I guess we're putting it off until a little later. Sid looked at him sharply. You will talk to him, won't you? What? Of course I will. Why wouldn't I? I already promised that I'd try to suck less. I didn't realize how little faith you had in me, big guy. I have faith in you. It's just that, well... Sid glanced around. They were lagging behind, with Artemy, Maeve, and Calder well out of earshot. You said yesterday that you were going to tell Artemy about your little theft. But you still haven't yet. Listen, I'm going to. I'm not ready yet. It's just a lot, yeah? Sid fell silent for several long moments. Can I give you my thoughts on something? Are they good thoughts? I could use a good thought or two. Not quite, more like neutral observations. I don't like that either. I can put it off until later if you want. Cole bit his lip. His brow furrowed with discomfort. Really don't like that. But sure, hit me. Sid smiled softly. I've been thinking, and don't take this the wrong way, but sometimes it's not about you. Cole frowned but did not retort. Sid took this as permission to continue. Sometimes people deserve to know the truth, and you being not ready isn't good enough. Sometimes you just have the responsibility to tell them, and you just gotta stop putting yourself first for a bit. Cole's gaze was fixed on Artemy's back as I continued strolling through the streets. He gnawed on his lip, his face twisted in an anxious knot. I know. I'm gonna tell her, Listen, I have a plan, right? A way to get Artemy off the hook from her whole revoking her title thing with her mom. I just figured we got rid of your death sentence would soften the blow a bit. You do have a lot of plans. Sid laughed. Artemy's my friend too, boss. I hope your plan goes well, but if you put it off for too long, I'm going to tell her myself. She should really hear it from you. She will! I'll do the right thing, I promise. I just need more time. His voice wavered for a moment. We'll still be friends, right? Even if everything goes tits up? Sid's gaze softened and he pulled the hyena close. Of course, boss! Castle Diluvium, front gates. Artemy's eyes grew wide as our group approached the gates of the royal palace. So, this is the home of the royal family. You can see the tower looming in the horizon across Axia, but it feels so different up close. Imagine how different things would be if you managed to find this place on your own a few days ago. Artemy let out an offended great gasp. How rude! This is my first time adventuring out the city, and I couldn't find my way around the moat surrounding the castle. Anyone could have made such a mistake. Axia, doesn't Axia's main cobblestone street lead straight to the castle? It's got flags with the royal family's crest and everything. I'll have you know, I followed precisely that street on my first mission, but it took me nowhere near the palace. Cole squinted. You went the wrong way. There were no signs. I simply went the direction that made the most sense. Away from the big castle tower on the horizon? I was distracted. Cole sighed and patted Artemy on the back sympathetically. Well, at least you ended up safely in jail where we could find you. Thank goodness you suck at directions. Artemy's face was clouded with the grief-stricken look of a kicked puppy. She gingerly tugged at Sid's sleeve. Sir Sid, surely you don't agree with this. Well, honestly, I'm kind of glad you suck since that's the reason we met. Such brutal words from my dearest friend. Know that you've wounded me deeply. Wait, I meant that in a good way. I'm afraid you've lost high five privileges for the foreseeable future. That's kind of devastating. Whoa, she's learning to clap back. Cole blinked as her group crossed the narrow road leading to the castle gates. Rows of guards were stationed at the entrance, but one familiar knight towered over the rest. A worried frown filled Cole's face as he elbowed Artemy urgently. Hey, Artie? Just a heads up, but your knight commander's here. Artemy immediately stiffened. Sir Grank? Here? You alright? You don't have to talk to him if you don't want to. I can probably pull some strings and get past him unnoticed. As you know, I'm incredibly skilled at avoiding conversations. Artemy shot him a grateful look, but firmly shook her head. No, but thank you for the thought. I will have to speak with him eventually. It would be best if I face things now instead of letting it fester. Cole felt his stomach twist with loose glass. The ease with which Artemy stepped forward, in spite of the torment on her face, it shouldn't kill him inside the way it did. He should be proud, happy for her even, shouldn't he? For a split second, Cole hoped that she would fail, and knew he truly was the worst person in the world. Oblivious to the storm of self-loathing boiling inside him, Artemy sucked in a deep breath and stepped forward, towards the castle's front gates. She stood tall and rigid, the picture of professionalism, but she couldn't quite bring herself to look Grank in the eye. Greetings, Knight Commander! It's a surprise to see you here. The polar bear's brow rose with surprise at the sight of her before quickly melting into a warm smile. Artemy found herself unable to smile back. The old bear did not comment on it, but the hurt in his voice was obvious. Oh, Artemy! Dear girl, it's good to see you up and about after last night's, debacle. Have you been well? Artemy bowed stiffly. I am faring well, yes. I come here today to continue my investigation of the missing rubies. Might I ask why you're here at the royal palace? I have always worked closely with the royal family whenever they sought security, particularly with Prince Cassius. With the recent demon attack, they have called upon my service once more. Ah, I see. The two of them stood awkwardly at the front gates, unsure of what to say. Artemy fixed her gaze firmly on the ground at her feet. She could feel the commander peer at her pleadingly, desperate for a sign of something. Forgiveness? Assurance that they were still on good terms? She couldn't quite say, and she was unsure if she was capable of giving such an answer at the moment. The seconds ticked by, and Artemy prayed to the Creator that the ground beneath her would open up and swallow her whole. Anything to break the awkwardness of this exchange. Apparently the Creator was feeling hilarious today, because Calder suddenly strutted past her and let out a low whistle. Hey there, hot stuff! I heard through the grapevine that you were asking where my favorite bar was. Did something catch your interest? Oh, if it isn't Artemy's flattering friend. I was simply lamenting on where the fun spots were in Axie as of late. I am afraid I've been put quite out of the loop. Tavern folks tend to run when they see a church knight in full armor march into their establishment. Alright, I'm actually going to pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!